Okay guys, today I'm going to black out this silver line. The Golf R is all black, so I figured let's kind of go with that theme. A little matte black and gloss black overlay here on the front emblem logo. So I thought that this time around, since I have some leftover wrap from my livery, this is a metallic brushed black, so it catches the light a little differently than, let's say, a gloss black. And I also have that on the rear emblem, so I thought I'd match the theme very subtly from this one line to the back emblem background. I'll show that to you in a second. So this is a glossy rear emblem, but for the background I put in the brushed black metal 3M 1080 wrap, and it gives a lot of visual interest. This light kind of bounces around it. It's not just a typical flat surface that's shiny or matte. I kind of like that. I feel like little details like that give it a more high-end feel. It's just my preference. So I'm going to match this look on the background with the leftover wrap that I have here, which matches it. And I'm still going to do it vertically because I just want to match the pattern and lay it over and trim it. That gives me one line that isn't exactly silver anymore, but isn't just a black like everything else. So one line of interest, and I'm hoping that, like with light hitting it from other cars, it'll make it a little bit different, but have that blackout look overall. Kind of matches the back and front. The most important part of this is to take some alcohol and clean the surface that you want to wrap as well as you can. And so all along the surfaces where the wrap will adhere, including the ends and underneath, you really want to try to make sure that you remove any excess dirt, film, or oils, that type of thing. So what I like to do when I start off is to get the edge of the wrap underneath and use the gap all along this seam as sort of the guideline for, let's say, a razor blade, because even if it scratches the surface, it will be within the gap and you won't notice it. And it's an all plastic part, so I'm not really worried about rust or any corrosion. If I was a little bit more professional about it, I'd probably use some sort of tape, knife tape, but I don't want to go that far this time around. I just feel like it's not really worthwhile at this point. So instead of trying to get exactly the flat edge across the top, what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay down this strip all the way across, and there's more than enough because I have tons of excess to go across the silver smoothly. And here where you can see there's a little bit of fold there, and that happened from a previous pull up and put back onto the backing, that will kind of go away with a little bit of heat. So this is how I'll start, and I want to make that nice and vertical all the way across and kind of crease across. And you can see already that if I just use my nail, we already have a nice seam line there to cut on. So there really doesn't have to be too much drama with this. Just make sure that all the silver is coated all the way across the top, so you can't see any silver from any angle. So using a sharp, newer X-Acto blade, I'll just find where that cavity is and lightly, with almost no pressure, follow that line all the way up to the corner. Careful not to scratch the fairing on that side. So with this, we should be able to gently peel this up. I'll leave a little extra here because we may need it. Then I'll crease in the edge so that you can't really see it roll up on the plastic. There you go. And press down on it. Okay, one thing to remember is when you're wrapping the underside of this, don't just fold it over and run your thumb all the way because it's a curve. And what will happen is you'll get bunching of the vinyl underneath. So you don't want that. So what I suggest is starting from the top, once you've tucked that edge in, and I've used a razor blade tool that's it's a fake razor blade that has a nice edge to it just to run across the top to make sure it's nice and tucked and even. Then on the bottom, what I do is I just start from the middle of the curve, which is about here, and start wrapping gently with a little bit of pressure across the front and underneath. And you don't have to go all the way back to make this happen. Just start with the edge on the bottom and just maybe just a 1/16 of an inch in, just get some adhesion and some fold. And then go back and do it again, and then go deeper and deeper and deeper. But don't just drag your finger across. Go sequentially. It takes a little longer until everything lays flat. So once that's done, you have a nice line that goes all the way across. And the only thing we have to worry about is the end termination. So we'll work on that next. So for the inside edge here, you don't want to actually cut along the edge. Because if you cut along the edge, you're going to cut short, generally speaking, and leave a little bit of silver, and that's really super annoying. Instead, what I do is I cut like maybe about 1/16 of an inch or less extra, so it kind of overlaps a little bit. And then I take my tools and I slightly pressure tuck the edges all inside. So when I tuck it underneath the valences, it's a nice clean look. There's no silver viewable anywhere, even up close. So as you look, there's nothing there that reveals any silver whatsoever. And it's a nice OEM kind of cleaner look that goes right in. So that is now from the inside edge to the outside. All we need to do is clean up this end. And I'm sure there's better ways of doing it, but because I'm not a gifted wrapper, I'll do the best as I can and then go over details in a second. So as I said, I'm not a gifted vinyl wrapper, so I'm sure there's better technique, but what I did was I just tucked the edge in all the way through the top and then made a slice, a little overlap, so I have some extra material to adhere to the back end and tucked underneath. And what that allowed me to do is have a very clean line because this butts up against the headlight assembly, and you can't see any bulges or odd protrusions coming out from the edge of that. So for me, that solution works fine for me. If you don't like it, then there's probably better techniques. But one thing I don't like to do, and I think all vinyl wrappers know this, is as much as possible, I try not to stretch the material unless I absolutely need to. So I don't like pulling and stretching because I've noticed that the ends pull up when you do that. And so I try not to add additional tension into the material. So now that I'm done, I am going to use my trusty infrared thermometer and my heat gun to heat the vinyl up to anywhere between like 105 to 150. I don't want to damage material. 3M recommends 105, I think, or 104. So we'll just go by the recommendations and be careful not to burn when you're doing this. So I like to go on low heat and then just kind of like take a quick temperature read where you're going. There's 107, 96, yeah, 111 is good enough. Yeah, 124 a little too much, so I'm going to back it off. I don't want to run it or melt it. Let's see how this is doing. Yeah, so in that range so that the adhesive can set. And now for here, you can see we're hitting that like 104, 108, 91, 95, 99, and just go all the way down. And on the other side as well. And there it is. So it worked out really well. There's no gap or seams along either side. Very easy to see. It's completely dechromed. And now if we look, you can see that there is like this light play along the edge. It doesn't exist along the other black slats. So a nod to the chrome without actually, you know, having chrome. And then in general, just looking back, it has a nice blacked out look, but a little bit of interest, like I said, because it does match with the rear emblem.